Today I will be running through how I make a sort of acidy, hard techno track. So I already made all these melodic parts and put in a vocal, but I'll also run through how I do the drums from scratch. So we will start off with the melodic elements. I initially started off with this Juno Diva preset. Sounds like this. So it's already quite, I'm not sure what the word is, I guess, atmospheric, very big sound. So the chord progression is G, is Sol in minor, G minor, C minor, and then last but definitely not least is an A sharp minor, and it pretty much repeats over, but then instead of going back down, these bass notes go to a D sharp and then to an F after that. And then I put an EQ on it just to get rid of some of those lows, because it's very intense and I know it will clash with the bass. So now it fits in a bit better. And essentially all I did was bounce that out to here. And I just put a slight side chain. So that's that part. And then the next thing I moved on to was the reese bass. So it's really nice little bass there. I also, in parts of because I arranged it without drums, but I started off initially with this. Which is the same bass line as in this synth here, as you can see. It's identical to what's here. So essentially all I did from there was just add a couple of these gliding notes. And I didn't even put anything on this. All I did was use Vital for this. It's really simple to make a reese bass. I'll show you the preset in here. Essentially it's just a saw wave. You don't have to pitch it down, but it makes your life easier when you're doing it on your keyboard or whatever you're using, your MIDI piano. And you pitch it down, it's a saw wave, 7 voices, 15% in unison. And then I put in at the same octave, so either leave it at 0, do -12, do -24, whatever you feel like doing. Same level, and you use a sine wave, and this just acts as a sub with no unison at all. And then I added this, I'll just play it by itself. It's just one of those like white noise sorts of effects that comes in stock with Vital, and I usually play around with them, but I thought this one was quite nice. And I put the key triggering to 31.29%, and you'll see in a second that I keep the voices at 1, and this is because I want that bend and that glide. So I keep the bend at 2, and I up the glide to 0.028 seconds with legato. So very simple. And essentially all I did for this is I found another, it's called All Aboard. It's in Diva again, with sidechain, that's why it's bounced out. And it's this little like RP sort of sound. And all I did was copy this pattern down into the ARP, and that's what came out, and I just chucked some EQ on it. And then we can move on here to the acid sound, which is, in my opinion, a very crucial part of this, especially if you're going for that Echoes, Hard Target, Tommy Holohan sort of acid sound. You want these melodic elements, so the acid, the ARP, the chords, you want them to be pretty stagnant and the bass to be driving the melody. It sounds kind of confusing, but but you can see here that this is actually these are all constant chords. It's the same chord repeated with the bass line. You can see up here, for example, these chords don't change, and it's the same with this acid. You'll see here with this pattern, it's the same bass, same line repeated over and over and over. And that's sort of the idea with a lot of these techno tracks nowadays, is they get the bass to push the melody along, and that's where actually most of the melodic elements come into play. Now I'll just dive into this. So essentially I kept the bass note the same every single time. It's a G, and you'll see here that it's literally the same pattern repeated over pretty much every time, except for this last little bit where I literally just took the bass note, put it an octave up. Same pattern over and over. And you can see here, this is a acid sound from Splice that I just chucked in. It's very well processed already, very crunchy and just punchy and nice. So I didn't really want to do a huge amount, but I wanted some tull reverb just to make it a bit more spacey. So room size is 0.70, negative 26 dB in wet, and then some echo. Stock preset, just put the wet output at 20 instead of 100, and then I EQ'd some of these lows out so it doesn't clash too much with the bass. And then I just have this little vocal sample here.
Go, just go, just go, just to make the crowd, just go, just go, just to make the crowd, just to make the crowd, just go, just go, just go, just to make the crowd, just go, just go, just to make the crowd, just to make the crowd, just go.
And then I think we're good to move on to the drums here. So I already have a lot of stuff preloaded, so I'll just chuck in this kick.
Make the crowd, just to make the crowd, just go, just go, just go, just to make the crowd, just go, just go, just to make the crowd, just to make the crowd, just go, just go, just go, just.
So it's punchy as. So I just put some distortion on there, which is crush. And I just up the drive a little bit, and you can see this filter is filtering out a lot of that. I just chopped it here at around 12k, just because some of those really high bits are quite annoying. Really nice. And then we've got a clap here, which again, sample doesn't start till right about there. And it's also, again, very, very long sample. So I'm just going to shorten that, might do that, see how it sounds, and then I'll adjust after. So I'll draw in my pattern here. So I like it already. I do think it needs something a bit more interesting to make it nicer. So I'm going to add some bit crusher to it, just downsample it a little bit, up the resolution to maybe like 10, and the next thing we've got here is a hat sample. Again, first thing I do, change the sample, and I want it to hit right there. You can see it's the largest part of the waveform. So I'm just gonna chop it right there. Again, real long sample. So I'm gonna shorten it one more time, bring it maybe all the way down there, and adjust as needed. And I'll make the pattern. Moving on here to some top loops. So put it in tempo. As always, you must do that with your tops. Nice, I think that's great. And then we'll move on to this one here. Again, chuck it in tempo. Sounds great. So the next part I'll put in is this other, it's a little like perky granular loop. I actually don't think it needs anything. then we've got another percussion loop here. This one's more like sort of standard percussion sort of thing. So, thank you for watching. If you guys want, I still have my $1 sample pack up on my Patreon, links in the description. Have a listen, and I'll see you guys in the next one.